Let's welcome our old friend, Dr. Kenneth Ender.
Good evening. Could you believe that introduction? I mean, I was feeling tired when you got done. I cannot tell you how honored I am to be invited back to speak with the trustees and my colleague presidents. I said to Larry, Larry, it's hard to be a prophet in your own land. And Larry and Pat Donahue added, but you can if you live 35 miles away. So I guess I've gone far enough away to come back and have something to say, and hopefully it'll resonate with you. And I have to say to you, the remarks I'm going to provide for you tonight, the core of them we did maybe 4 months ago out in Denver at a conference that Larry and I both attended. And I say that because as you hear these remarks, and if you think about what Penny had to say earlier, and Casey and Larry, you're going to think we're all in cahoots. And we had this all planned out and had it up. Folks, this is because we've got a perfect storm of work going on across this country, across the state, and I think that these remarks will resonate with it. Now, you have heard a lot of information, and most of it has been about the state of New Jersey, and about high school students. And I don't know what your images were when you're thinking about that. But what you're going to hear in the next few minutes is going to be about you. Because my presentation about student success and student completion is going to be very personal. And I'm intending it to be personal. Actually, I would like for sure the trustees to leave here tonight with their hair on fire. Actually, thinking, I would have said that, darn, if I don't do something with what I've heard tonight, the world that I know is not going to be safe. So let me say a little bit about what that means. We keep saying and reading that the world is changing. It's not changing. It absolutely has changed. The world that you grew up in, the world I grew up in, no longer exists. Think about your personal story. Here's mine. Born in 1950. God, that makes me kind of old. I'm sticking kind of in there for now. Born to two parents, either one had a college education. Mother dropped out of high school in the 9th or 10th grade and went to work in a candy shop, World War II. Father saw his last 3 report cards. In his senior, junior, and sophomore year, he had 2 courses, English and wood shop. That was it. That couple went on in their world and their economy to raise 4 children, build and pay for 3 homes, and virtually could decide to go back and forth between Richmond, Virginia and Dubuque, Iowa, their 2 hometowns, whenever they wanted to, because there'd be a job that my father could do. I would submit to you tonight that if I was from that family today, you would never find me in this stance 61 years later. Not in this economy, because they could have never positioned me to get there. Right now, there are, last count, we just did the census, 315 million Americans in this country. As a national policy for China today, their single goal for 400 million peasants is to raise them up to the industrial age. Think about that. If anybody thinks the world is going to be what it used to be, because all those nice industrial age jobs that we had somehow would magically reappear, the water has really changed in New Jersey since I left. you're drinking something that we're not drinking. Not going to happen. The world has changed. The urgency about this issue of student success is not related to a degree or a certificate. It's related specifically to how we compete and sustain our nation in a global economy. That's the stakes. Okay? Larry said to you earlier, if you only have one thing in your mind when you leave, I'm going to give you two. Here's the second thing. If you leave here tonight not insisting that the high school diploma in the state of New Jersey is aligned with readiness, not educational services readiness, Bob, not remedial readiness, but readiness to pursue a post-secondary credential. If we can't get that straight, you all are in deep trouble. That's what we know about today and the economy we're in now. That's what we know. Where do we stand? We've said to fix this, we need to produce 5 million new certificate or degree holders by the year 2020. If we were to be able to do that, we could compete globally, particularly with middle skills jobs. So let's see where we are. This will just make you feel good right before you have supper. You have to accept that I'm going to ask you to use your big imagination right now. And I want you to imagine that you represent 100% of the ninth graders who started in the United States this fall. Right? All are nice, young, fresh, energetic ninth graders. Your whole future is in front of you, and our future is in front of you. You're the whole group. You're about 1 million in our country. So let's take a look at what's going to happen to you. There's about this group of people right in here, right in here. Would y'all just stand up? I want everybody to meet you. You're nice people. I got bad news for you, though. You're not going to graduate from high school. In fact, most of you, about 16 or 17, will be out of high school, and you'll probably be in some sort of trouble in our country. Most of you are men. Most of you are men. I knew Casey would end up over here. Most of you are troublemakers. You're men, you're brown, and you're black. Most of you don't speak English. And all of you have left high school. I'm sorry. Now this third in here, the group that Ray and Newsy's sitting in, and Linda, and Larry just made the cut. So y'all stand up if you would. I want you to, well, maybe you do. So this group, this nice set of ninth graders, most of them don't have any college in their history. A lot of them are men. There's some women. There's a little ESL, but not nearly as much as over here. And they all sort of have got a thought about their high school experience from what their parents had to tell them was, if you can just get through high school, we're going to do good by you. Just get you through. So you're going to get through. You're not ready. You haven't taken the right courses. You all have got these ambitions to live the kind of lifestyles your parents led.
I'm going to move to this group.
Please do. No, do. I think I need you over here. Thank you. You're going to help me a lot in just a minute. Most of you are going to come to us, and across the country, not in New Jersey, the statistic in New Jersey is about 40%. It's a lot of range, though. It can be as much as where we at Cumberland. 65%, Thomas, taking one or more remedial right now? Right, and other, but across the country, you all are going to go And about 65% of you are going to take one or more developmental courses, and about half of you are going to quit because you don't want to do that stuff because you can't figure out why you have to do it and pay for it, and you're going to have to go find something else to do. So sit down. I'm sorry, you didn't make it. This group, what's your name, sir? Ralph. Ralph, you made it. Stand up. Now, you third. You third are no surprise to me that the county superintendent and the two retirees and my wife made this group. Because this third finished high school, went into college, didn't have to take any remediation, and about 80% of you, mostly women, by the way, mostly white women, by the way, you did fine. And you know what? When you leave your certificate or your associate degree or your degree, you're going to be positioned to do the following. You're going to be able to take care of your family. You're going to be able to build your homes. You're going to be able to figure out with your kids how to finance their education. You're going to start thinking about your retirement. And you know what else you're going to do if something doesn't change? Ralph? What are you going to be doing, Ralph? You're going to be taking care of all these people over here. Yeah, but your tax bill didn't, my friend. Please sit down. So that's real. I mean, we're not talking about, we're talking about real people in a real time, in a real urgency, in a real United States of America. That is what's happening in our country today. How does that work? You know, my presidential colleagues know I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I mean, they can give you lots of data. But you don't have to be a brain surgeon to look at this picture of America and think somehow we're going to be okay. Right? So, how do we fix it? How do we change it? How do we intervene? How do we do something that makes a difference for our country? I've given you this, who's completing, who's not. The other issue, and Penny referred to it, but I want to make sure you understand it. Remember who's over here? Lots of white women. Right? Remember who's over here? Lots of black and brown folks, lots of immigrants, right?